Sven Schindler from Jägermeister.
The company, the brand was always about innovation, being bold.
But it was always a very, very good community. Is that also part of the success?
It's one of the key strengths of Jägermeister. It's one of the things we are taking care about the community. We have lots of initiatives around that.
How do you guys survive the next 90 years when nobody drinks alcohol anymore? Sven, I had some of my most memorable nights with Jägermeister. At least the ones I can remember.
Come on.
Jägermeister was always good.
Don't blame us for that.
It's definitely a party starter.
Yes.
What was your best night ever?
I had plenty of those, I would say, but in regards to Jägermeister, was probably the first time I went to Rock am Ring, to the festival.
Yeah.
And as usual, it was great weather, not. Because I think it's tradition for Rock am Ring that we have bad weather conditions. So it was rainy, quite cold, but we had a lot of fun. I still remember one of my friends losing one of his shoes during Rage Against the Machine on stage. So you can imagine how good the time was we had.
Wild. Today we want to talk about the brand Jägermeister over 90 years, 90. Yes, e-com brands, that's almost 100 years of legacy in the books. And your claim is kind of like 56 botanicals for success, 56 Kräuter für den Erfolg. How do you guys survive the next 90 years when nobody drinks alcohol anymore?
Oh, that's a very good question. At the moment, we still have enough people consuming alcohol, but there's definitely a big trend, especially in the Western Hemisphere, obviously, based on the health trend and everything we see in the younger generations, that people drink less alcohol. In the Eastern Hemisphere, it's not that strong. But definitely we need to innovate and create new products. That's the one thing. But also, at the same time, we need to become relevant outside of the liquor or the spirits territory. And I think we will touch base on that in the course of this discussion. To gain traction outside of the traditional spirits business and become relevant to the audiences outside of that, outside of the occasion where you drink Jägermeister, so that we become a part of the consumers' lives and journeys outside of that.
Before we talk about the future, let's dig a little bit into the past. And basically, Jägermeister is a long-term partner of BDX. I think when I started my photo career, some of my first jobs were for Jägermeister, and we actually have a couple of photos there. Yes. That was at Sputnik Spring Break 2012. You guys had a brass band that came out. They have the big festival activation with the Jägermeister Platzhirsch. And I remember it was the first time I was at a festival for a brand. Usually I was with the artist, but with the brand. And you instantly had a sense of belonging because everybody was very close to each other. It was a very, very good team. I mean, of course, if you spend days and nights together you travel together in a nightliner or so, of course, there's bonding and maybe also a drink here and there helps for that. Yes. But it was always a very, very good community. Is that also part of the success?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the key strengths of Jägermeister is the community aspect. We have always been part of the community, and I think that's one of the things we are taking care about the community. We have lots of initiatives around that. Save the Night as our purpose program, supporting nightlife started in Corona to support nightlife from the threats by Corona, but also nowadays we still are running this project to support nightlife, for instance, to make it safer in South Africa or whatever around the globe. That's why we are always centered in community and around communities. And that's one of the key strengths of Jägermeister and the experiential part of the brand. As you mentioned, festivals as part of that, I think, have built the brand in the way it exists today. Yeah. To a degree.
Can you take us back in the story 90 years ago?
Yes.
The family Mast, right?
Yes.
From Wolfenbüttel near Braunschweig. They founded the company Jägermeister. How was it back then?
I have no clue.
Tell us about the history and the history is still alive back in the headquarters, right?
Yes, I mean it's still a family-owned business, so it's a fifth generation running the company, if you want. We are still family owned, 100%, which is, I think, quite unusual nowadays. Therefore, maybe that's also the reason why community are playing such a big role. Family, community, is not that far away from each other. 90 years ago, actually, Kurt Mast founded Jägermeister. The company existed before already. So his father founded the company, but they didn't sell actually herbal liquor. They were importing wine and were producing vinegar. And then Kurt Mast took over, and he was a passionate hunter, as you could see in the film. And he wanted to invent something to celebrate a successful hunt. And that's when Jägermeister actually was developed by him. He was sourcing all the botanicals and ingredients because they are deriving from 30 different countries around the globe by the pharmacy back then, because there was only one place where you could get these kind of ingredients. And he went to the pharmacy, and then he tried a lot of things until he came up with a perfect recipe. And that recipe is in place since 90 years, unchanged.
And so you could say he had a very special taste, right?
Yes, absolutely. And also it's only natural ingredients, which is maybe also not the most usual stuff. Yeah.
Jägermeister was founded, it grew, it got traction, we talked a little bit earlier about like that Red Bull kind of stole your playbook in the 2000s or 2010s, but you were the first ones actually in sports activation, sports branding and all of that. This photo that we see here, that's a soccer jersey. And
let's call it football here in Europe.
Or football or soccer or Fußball. It is the Eintracht Braunschweig, BTSV. And it's the first ever jersey with the sponsoring logo on it. And that was Jägermeister. Wouldn't believe that today, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think Liverpool was the first club in England 5 years later having a sponsorship on the jersey. So Braunschweig was the first club globally having this jersey sponsorship with Jägermeister. And Günther Mast, the nephew of the founder back then, got very creative because the DFB didn't want to allow it. So he changed the club logo into the Jägermeister logo to be able to place it on the chest. And there was regulation. So before the first match, the referee had to measure actually the size of the logo, whether it's compliant with the regulations.
It's similar, probably you guys remember when RB Leipzig, Red Bull Leipzig here was founded. They also had issues like with the laws, with the logo, and they changed the bulls and all that. So like history repeats itself, right?
Kind of, yes. We have a huge archive where you can see all the different letters being written between Jägermeister and the German Football Association, in a legal fight about this jersey sponsorship. Unthinkable today, because if you look at the jerseys today, there's a logo everywhere. But back in the days, it was the first time, and was big boundaries to overcome.
And then you guys also went into the racing sport, right?
Correct. So we sponsored Formula One, DTM, different race formats. And actually, I think it was a relative from the Mast family, Eckhard Schimpf, who approached the family because he was doing a race. And he wanted Günther to sponsor the race. And then Günther said, okay, I will sponsor you, but you need to color your car in orange. So they did it. It was just a trial, and gained huge media about that. And then the whole story started. And later on, we had several race teams in orange across different formats. And it's a great story. Unfortunately, we stopped it at one point, like in the beginning 2000s. But yeah, as you said, we kind of created the plot of Red Bull, sponsoring a football team or almost owning it if you want. Having your own race teams in the 70s already, so which is quite interesting. So the company, the brand was always about innovation, being bold, and that's where we have to, let's say, continue on this path. Because you asked, how do we survive the next 90 years? That's exactly the way we have to do it.
You mentioned the colors, orange and like kind of like the forest green.
Yes.
Who of you guys knows Pantone? Please raise hands. Okay, yeah, a lot of graphic people out here. That's good. You guys have your own Pantone color, right?
Yes, correct.
How did this come up? And I think you actually did a collab with Pantone, right?
Yes. So yeah, in the origin, it was never about a collaboration. So we were recreating our brand visual identity, and we have identified our most distinctive assets. And the two colors were also very distinctive for Jägermeister, orange and green. So
is it like just orange, or does it have a special like Jägermeister orange name also, like or a herbal green?
Culture orange and herbal green. That's how we called the colors in the end. But when we started, it was not about names of colors. It was really identifying the right orange, the right green for Jägermeister, for our brand visual identity, so that we have consistency in colors around the globe. But then when we have finished, let's say, the development of the colors, we felt like, oh, there's something in there, right? So we need to make more out of it. And then we came up with the idea to create this monochromatic bottle, the monochromatic pack, actually. And at a great agency in Berlin, they're called Attitude, coming up with a great storytelling. They gave the names of Culture Orange and Herbal Green, because usually in Pantone you have color codes, right? 7.3, 7.5, whatever. And in this case, they came up with the names and a great story, because the two colors are kind of the yin and yang of Jägermeister, if you want. The
party and the hangover?
Yeah, almost. Almost. So let's say Culture Orange stands for like the more urban side of the brand, the party life, best nights, all of that. And Herbal Green stands for nature, the ingredients, the recipe, and all of that. So it's a bit like the yin and yang. So they are opposing, but also depending on each other. And that was a story then we were building around it. And based on that, we were then creating those beautiful packs. Which we then launched in e-coms around the globe. So in the German e-com, the 200 packs were sold in 60 seconds, actually. So,
oh, wow.
Which was a great success. And we had 120 plus media publications around the globe reporting about our colors and how we celebrated those colors in a super cool way with those limited packs.
Drinking a Jägermeister with someone, or like drinking a shot, is most of the time kind of like a ritual, right?
Yes.
I mean, we also know it from tequila. What is it? Lick, swallow, bite. We love tequila,
yes.
Something like that.
Salt, lemon.
But the same also applies for Jägermeister. If somebody asked me in the club, like, hey, you wanna have a shot of Jägermeister? It's better a good friend, or they become a good friend afterwards.
Yes.
How can you kind of like push this ritual that in terms of like storytelling?
Yes. I mean, in general, the perfect serve for Jägermeister as a shot is ice cold, minus 18 degrees ideally. That's why we ask people when they store the bottle at home, put it in the freezer, because that's when the taste is the best. And in, let's say, bars and clubs and so on, we have so-called tap machines. So you plug in the bottle on the top and you serve, the shot at ice cold temperature, minus 18 degrees. And that's kind of the ritual, right? You draft it from the tap machine. It's almost like drafting beer, if you want. And that's a ritual which not many other brands do have. So that's something we further establish and roll out around the globe.
And so that's also kind of like part of like the visual availability.
Yes.
So let's say you go to the nightclub, you go to the bar, and it's like, yeah, what shall we drink, right? And there's like the full amount like of the whole shelf.
Yes.
And then you see the deer standing there and like, okay, let's go for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tap machine obviously creates additional visibility. On the flip side, if we ask the bars to put the bottle into the freezer, it wouldn't be visible, right? So we had to come up with a solution to still have an ice cold shot, but also the visibility for the brand. Otherwise, you would disappear somewhere in the freezer, and that wouldn't be helpful.
What's your job today look like? I think I did a little bit of an introduction there,
yes.
But you're taking care of like all the digital part, and your background is also like in marketing and sports marketing. What does your job like on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, in general, I take care about all campaigns, social media, collaborations, but also our digital ecosystem in regards to e-com, website, and then also the team who takes care about those cooling devices I mentioned before, those tap machines, is part of my area of responsibility. And my job is actually to push ourselves to think newly every day and to push the boundaries in a good way, not forcing people into stuff, but trying to inspire the team to go above and beyond and to think differently and to come up with new great ideas to inspire people out there and to make them or turn them into Jägermeister fans, ideally.
And you're a pretty creative soul yourself. Like when we talked first about doing this podcast here, and I think it was in June, right? You came up with an idea for a very special keynote in a very special device. We won't say what it is right now. It will happen in 2 hours here on stage. It's actually your idea. The credits go to you. So
Thank you.
we'll tell you guys later. Just a little cliffhanger. Yeah.
It would be a short version of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
That's what
but
we
basically, if I want to have one of these tap machines in our office for
we need to talk
efficiency improvement.
Sure. Testing.
Then you can hook me up.
Yes, 100%.
Amazing. Tell us about other collaborations you guys do right now.
Yes. So maybe one interesting one was also we have done last year with Santa Cruz. I hope everybody knows Santa Cruz
Skateboarding brand, right?
Yes, skateboarding brand, one of the
I think we also have them
behind you.
Here.
Yes, exactly. And it's actually quite a great story because Santa Cruz in the 90s hacked the Jägermeister logo. And they had a pro skateboarder, and his name was Jeff Kendall, and he was a big Jägermeister fan. So they dedicated the deck design to him. And nowadays, Jeff Kendall is the CEO of Jägermeister, of Santa Cruz, almost Jägermeister. But yeah, he's the CEO of Santa Cruz. And then they reached out to us and said, hey, look, we would like to do a reissue of that deck from the 90s. But back then, we did it as it used to be in skateboarding. We hack stuff. We don't care. We don't ask for permission. We just do it. And then they came up, asked us, hey, do we want to do an official reissue together of this deck? And I think this is super cool because it's a super authentic story. So we are not buying into skateboarding or whatever. There's a true story, a true fan who's now leading the company, and that was great. And actually, the connector was Atiba. I don't know if you know Atiba Jefferson. He's an icon in skateboarding photography, actually. And he then came also up with a great idea. We did an event in LA for the launch. So he identified all the old photographers from the 90s taking pictures of Jeff. So we did a gallery, and then Atiba actually did actual photos and placed them next to the old pictures from the 90s, and that's how we launched the whole thing. So that was super cool.
Seems like the whole throwback thing, also what we did with Gold's Gym, is pretty huge, right?
No,
or we
absolutely.
just have all the same ideas by ChatGPT.
Yeah. No, that came up. I think ChatGPT was not that strong at this time yet. Let's put it like this.
There's one thing called sensory voyage.
Yes.
What's that?
So in sensory voyage, because you asked before, how do we keep relevancy the next 90 years? We try exactly that, to go beyond the liquor purely, because to have a best night out, and you ask
that,
me,
right? Is that
yes, exactly, the box next to you. For the best night out, you need all of your senses, right, to enjoy your best night, and that's where we thought, hey, we create this sensory voyage. And actually do a collaboration for each of the scents. Obviously for taste, it's us. It's Jägermeister. But then for seeing, we have the Yashica cam you can see up there. I think you are a big Yashica fan as well. But it's there's no bottle in there. What a big miss.
Okay, somebody already had some fun. So usually there's a bottle in, right?
That's, yes, exactly. And this is keeping the bottle cool. So if you put this device into the freezer, for like 3 to 5 hours, the bottles will stay ice cold in it.
Okay.
And then, I said, I don't know what's the next item in there. Let's see. The Yashica cam and the Lexon speaker for hearing. So that's the Yashica cam.
So you partner. It's basically like a super collab. It's not.
We have several partners.
It's not a collab with just one brand. It's like with multiple brands.
Exactly. Wow. For each sense, we have one brand partner actually. So for seeing, it's
Do I
Yashica.
destroy the value if I unbox it now?
That's fine.
Okay.
Go for it.
Nice. Thought it's more worth if I keep it sealed.
We still have one as a backup. Don't worry.
Okay. Amazing. Nice. I love to unbox stuff.
I think this is a difficult one, to be honest. But okay. I can maybe move on with Lexon. You might know Lexon from the Museum of Modern Art shop. So we did a little mini speaker together with them for the sense of hearing. Maybe, I think, so it's a really, really tiny speaker. So you can wear it in your pocket. So that's the one we did for hearing. And then we have for
Why do I have to unbox like the tough part? You have all the easy stuff.
You were volunteering. It wasn't me. So yeah, and then the next one is Kumba is actually a scent label from Tokyo. And this is a scent fragrance paper actually. Last year we did some instant sticks. There's 2 fragrance papers in there. And then for feel, we have a little shirt. And this actually has been designed by Roaster, is his name. He did also some packaging designs for Apple. And he designed this Jägermeister-inspired T-shirt design and also reinterpreted the logo on the front. And that's how we try to, gain relevancy beyond the pure liquor and the occasion of drinking.
Influencer seating, right? Or were you also able to pay to buy?
So we are selling now the items, single items of the packs in the e-coms, but it was used to seed to the network so that they can do some unboxing, almost as good as you. And capture that, and then share the content on social media, and that's where we try to drive earned media and gain traction in social.
So, what are the KPIs you are measured by today?
That depends on each project, right? So for Sensory Voyage, we always try because we are recalculating the reach we are generating in social into media value, and obviously the media value should be at least 5 times higher than what we invest. So that's kind of
so 5 times ROI.
Yes, exactly.
So, would you say this is also like for brands and agency here in the audience? Is that also a good measurement?
It depends. I think for Pantone the ROI was much higher. I think Matthias was talking about talkability, right? And I think talkability, if you do it in the right way, I said 120 plus publications, the media value was huge. But in the end, the production and development investment was not that high. So if you do it well, I think you can still gain a lot of traction out there.
Yeah. In the US, we call it tap water talk, right? That you bring up something when you're in the office, if you go to the office, and you go to the water cooler, get another water, that you have something to talk to your colleagues about. And I know, again, shout out to Matthias, he called it Mama KPI. Means that your mom knows about it when she sees it on Instagram or Facebook or so, because it has to, I think, a successful campaign, especially for a broad global brand, has to touch not only Gen Z, Gen Alpha or so.
Yes.
You have to touch like all kinds of people, and if you want to be fully relevant, you have to touch your mom. Wow, that's weird. You have to create a touch point.
Touch your mom, yeah, okay, maybe.
You have to create touch points with other audience, Gen Z, and also in the professional area.
Yeah. And I think Pantone did exactly that because anybody would show that pack to, no matter if it would be my mom or your mom or my daughter, they would all like say, "Wow, this is fantastic. This is super cool. I love it." And that's the tricky part, right? Be mainstream, but still, have an edge in there because you still want to do stuff which resonates, which needs some edge. And without the edge, it will not resonate. But to be edgy and mainstream at the same time, that's kind of an art almost, I think.
Yeah. Jägermeister does a lot of creations themselves, but you also have like a lot of kind of strict boundaries, right?
Yes.
And laws. So you can't do football jerseys anymore, just by law. You can't do too much sponsoring with car stuff or so, just by law, right? I know you have a self-obliged rule that you only work with models above the age of 25 in terms of corporate social responsibility. Is this kind of like the biggest threat for you, or what's the biggest challenge for you guys right now?
In general, I would say that's part of being responsible. In the end, it's a spirit. It's not a soft drink. And even for soft drinks, you can debate. But okay, different story. However, I think this is part of being responsible, right? Obviously, in the past, and that was long before I joined Jägermeister, there was a time when the sports sponsoring kind of escalated internally, and salespeople would go out and sponsor youth teams, which is absolute no-go. And that's why the company then decided at one point we don't do sports at all, in no form, shape or form. this has been lifted now, so to do passive stuff outside of the pitch, not on the pitch or whatsoever, would be allowed. But obviously, that's sometimes a challenge, right? And we are even a bit more strict than all the others, which consumers don't know. So consumers will not say, "Oh, look, Jägermeister, they're super strict in regards to the CSR guidelines they apply." But still, that's our responsibility, and that's how we click. It's important to us, and therefore we are more strict maybe than others. But it's not a competitive advantage, let's say.
Okay.
But yeah, we need to find creative solutions. Again, Sensory Voyage or Pantone, Santa Cruz. We need to find ways to still resonate with the people by sticking to the rules and making the best out of it. It's still possible, right? It's not that the rules don't allow you anything, but they give you a relative strict frame to work in.
Yeah. What is a project you would love to do in the future? Like any brand you would love to collaborate with, maybe somebody else with the colors of orange or so. We have some folks out here from Sixt later today, so that might be fun.
Perfect match.
Is there anything on your bucket list, any brand you love and you never been in touch with?
There's definitely some. I mean, Apple did a drop already for us because they launched the iPhone 17 Pro in orange. So, okay, what else do we want? But no. I think obviously Apple would be a great brand to collaborate with, but that would be a very usual subject. Otherwise, I think it depends a bit. I wouldn't say there's this one favorite brand. I think we always need to look into those partnerships and find common ground in the sense of authenticity, that it works together, that it adds up, and not, it's just an advantage for the one side or the other. So 1 + 1 ideally is not 2, but 3, so that both sides really have an advantage from it and that it can authentically work together. Still be surprising to the people out there, but still can work as an authentic partnership and not just as a board partnership or whatever, because if I define now my dream partnership and we pay 5 million or whatever to get this partnership, we would never pay that, by the way, but just saying like it would be super expensive. Maybe they just do it for the money and then it's also not right. So it needs to be a mutual agreement, mutual respect and a mutual willingness to collaborate and not, it shouldn't be about money in the end.
How do you guys attract new target audiences? In the past, the playbook for a lot of spirits brands, also soft drinks or so, but mostly in the alcoholic beverage industry was start when you're like 18, 19, 20 at the nightclub, at the festival, and basically the Red Bull playbook is create great emotions when you're young, when you're at university, when you're studying and all that, and later when you are a young professional, you will remember these good times and purchase the drink over and over again, right? Is that kind of like still the same playbook you guys can use, or how do you tap into a Gen Z or maybe in 5 years or so Gen Alpha or so when they're old enough? How do you tackle these?
Yeah, I think from a comms point of view or a collaboration point of view, we touch base on it, but also from a product point of view, we just launched a new product, which is called Jägermeister Orange.
Okay.
I think we have some samples here for later on, but...
so kind of like your take on Aperol Spritz?
I wouldn't call it like this. You can if you want, but it's still positioned as a shot, but it's much more accessible because, to be fair, the original Jägermeister product is quite strong from a taste point of view as well. So not everybody likes it. I think it's black or white, right? You either love it or you hate it. There's not much in between. And Jägermeister Orange definitely is more accessible. So what we are trying here is to be easier to access for people, address new audiences, which might be not liking the original product because, as I said, it's polarizing. And therefore, this could be our new recruitment tool. So we have launched it last year in Czech Republic, this year in Germany. We are rolling out in much more markets next year as well. And that could be a great addition to our original Jägermeister product. And as I said, a great recruitment tool because it's much more accessible from a taste profile.
Talking about recruiting, and we tackled that topic just a little bit earlier when I had my first moments on a professional side with Jägermeister as the the brand activator teams were out there. I know you also have kind of like your own hub. What's it called? Hubertus Schuh or so? Something
Hubertus
kind of
Circle,
like
yes.
Hubertus Circle. Your own academy
yes.
or so. Tell us about that and the legendary nights that have been like partied there.
So Hubertus Circle is actually our bartender network, and we are running a scholarship every year. So again, tying into the community of bartenders, trying to win them as influencers for the brand, if you want, because they're the first filter at the bar, right? If you ask for a drink, the bartender is the one guiding you in the end. So not always. Some have their favorite drink in mind already, but for those who are not sure yet, the bartender might be a guiding person. So what we're doing there is we're running scholarships every year. We are inviting young and talented bartenders from around the globe, to participate and to compete, actually, to create new drink versions with Jägermeister and the different variants of Jägermeister. And yeah, it's a really strong network, because even after the scholarship, so people get a certificate, and they are strongly bonding with the brand, because you have all these, as you said before, from your festival experience, all these nights together, and obviously some drinks as well, and therefore it's a super bonding experience, and they go back home afterwards, and they have Jägermeister, they carry Jägermeister in their heart, basically. Yeah, this program is super nice, and it's growing. So every year we have more and more bartenders joining. We have the bartenders from the past, still being in touch. So that's a really great network we have in place.
That's amazing. I'm super excited. I'm a big fan of the brand. Sometimes I drink it more, sometimes less, but still, I think it's just iconic, right? And so super happy to have you out here. But I would love
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. But I would love to open up the discussion with the audience. So if you guys have any questions, now is the time to shine, to ask smart questions. Stefan, maybe you can give it a round. There's one question from Chris Gorski.
Yeah, I would like to ask, how's the development in the US? I studied in the US for 4 years, and the Americans loved Jaeger bombs. It was their favorite thing. Also dangerous with all the caffeine and alcohol, but they loved it.
Yeah, so just explanation, Jaeger bombs, that's what we call here, I think, Flying Hirsch. Jägermeister with Red Bull.
Yes.
They call it the Jaeger bomb.
Yeah. So the US market actually was super strong in the past, because of the Jaeger bomb, actually, but that has been going backwards. So the business is kind of not developing in the way we want. So we are working on that together with the US team to bring the business back on track, because obviously we don't want to do that based on the bomb, because as you said, from a responsible drinking point of view, it's a bit of a tricky territory with all the caffeine in there. But yeah, the business is not working too well in the US. It's okay, but not according to what we would like, let's say. Yeah. So there's upside potential.
Yeah. Maybe one more question. Yeah. And Chris, as you are moving to Miami pretty soon, you can be a good brand ambassador and invite all people out there.
Yes, please.
Sven, thank you so much for your time. That was amazing, and I'm super excited to learn more. We're already talking for Sensory Voyage, so maybe we come up something BDX and Jägermeister with Sensory Voyage next year. And there's an open invitation to Los Angeles, so please come over and we will do some fun stuff together.
Cool.
Amazing.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.